Yo. Everyone, and welcome to an I'm fanfic for you. We're back with another part of What If Issei got betrayed and become the red and white dragon emperor god of Ashikabi. But before we start, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome contents. Now, let's start the part 4. Shinto City Night. Blue Sekiryuutei. In the northern area several Ashikabi and Sekiryuutei are moving menacingly. Said while looking out the window. Perisuba. I see, to the north. Said while taking a bath. Blue Sekiryuutei, aka Red, is on his way there. Perisuba. So it's okay to let Red have fun alone. Blue Sekiryuutei. I'll go too. He said, moving away from the window towards the exit. Perisuba. It's okay. Said calmly. Natsuo. Hey, was there a disciplinary unit before I became your Ashikabi? Asked a little curiously while looking at a glass of wine in his hand. Perisuba. There was, although there were only 2 of us, the Sekiryuutei of Destiny, number 08, Yume, the young woman number 88, had been taken by an undercover operation, recover her, no matter the cost. Memory. Perisuba. The Sekiryuutei organization has been destroyed, I guess it's the end of that girl. Said watching how her partner had her in her arms. Yume. I entrust you with a wish that I could never make come true, since one day you will flap your wings, you will meet the person destined for you, and you will fall in love. Said with a smile as she carried Musubi and she touched her chest. Perisuba. Yume, don't tell me. She said to run away while a light illuminated the place, and Perisuba was static watching the scene. Don't fuck with me. She said very angrily. End of memory. Natsuo. That other Sekiryuutei, was she strong? After all, she was part of the disciplinary unit. She said, and Perisuba looked at him. Perisuba. Was strong. Natsuo. I guess it sucks that he died. Said taking a sip of his wine. Perisuba. Yes, the truth is, after all I was supposed to kill her with my bare hands. She said as she raised her hand from the water and just saw her. I wonder if Mu-chan will be able to do it tonight. Height of a building. Azahana. Ah, what a good breeze, it's a perfect and romantic game for young people. She said while enjoying her sake. Ara, are you watching too? She said looking at Hamura who was on the side away from her. Hamura. As guardian of the Sekiryuutei, I would like to see everything with my own eyes, this violation of the rules. Are you sure you don't need to give them a hand? She asked, turning her head to see Kazahana. Yesterday you were very involved in this. Kazahana. Well, you know, I wouldn't be able to watch if I helped them. Said with a smile when thinking about a certain brown boy who owned her heart. Hamura. Would you be able to observe? Said very curiously and Kazahana smiled. Kazahana. I wonder what Issei and that girl showed me. Center between both bridges. In the middle of the night, a slight fog was present in the place thanks to Taki's powers, which concentrated on making the enemy's visibility low. Issei. Whisper, good job, beautiful. Said looking at Taki who smiled at how he called her, and Issei was checking the time on his phone, waiting for the perfect moment to act. Seo call. This is the plan, we estimate that Matsu will be able to control the satellites for an hour, in other words, we only have 1 hour after the start of the plan. Meanwhile Matsu was concentrated in her room ready to start. First we must create a distraction in the bridge and then continue to attract attention. That was Kusano, who was taken care of by Toyotama only in case of emergency. But the important thing is that Kusano was preparing the vines to capture the entire bridge. We will do so much damage that they will not be able to put them in line. Immediately, during that time, take the railroad bridge and flee. Musubi. 5 seconds. He said, looking at the time being so close to the moment, everyone being ready. 4, 3, 2, 1. He said and they marked 2 AM, beginning the plan. Matsu called. Mission begins. Said starting the program to disable the program. Issei, balance breaker. He said, starting the plan. Albion, divine dividing scale male. His voice was heard and Issei put on the armor of the White Emperor Dragon. Issei. Musubi-chan, Akitsu, Taki, Hikari, Hibiki. Said looking at the Sekiryuutei who were there with him. Musubi, Akitsu, Taki, Hikari, Hibiki. Yes. They said and Musubi looked at Haruka and Kuno who nodded. Musubi. Let's go. Said pulling Kuno and the others followed her while Issei carried Haruka and they went faster. Unknown place. Seo. It's time. Said while holding Asuka's face, who was a little blushing, giving her a kiss and then giving one to Taiga. Very good, let's do it. She said and they both began their prayers. Taiga. Fist that breaks the mountain and splits the steel, may my oath destroy that which crosses the path of my Ashikabi. Asuka. Sword of light, may my oath cut the enemies of my Ashikabi infinite times. That was the oath of both girls who surrounded themselves with an energy as Asuka transferred it to her sword and Taiga concentrated it in her fist. Taiga Asuka, mountain breaker fist. He said, throwing an energy fist. transcendental slash. He said, throwing energy cuts. Pedestrian bridge. Soldier. What was that? He said when he heard a loud noise and Kusano appeared in front of them. Soldier 2. What are you doing here alone so late? He said with a smile, leaning down to look at Kusano. Where are your parents? Kusano. I don't know. Said while shaking his head. Salado. Wait. That girl is on the list. He said very nervously. She's a Sekirei. Toyotama. Now do it. Said and Kusano made his little plant grow, trapping all the soldiers in the place, and those who were not caught were knocked out by Toyotama or Kusano's plants that held them. Issei. That's my little girl. Said very proud of Kusano. It seems that I will have to reward Ku-chan and Toyotama well. He said and they were happy to feel that they made Issei proud while everyone ran towards the bridge. Haruka. You know. He said, drawing the attention of Issei who was carrying him. Issei. What's wrong? Said as he continued running. Haruka. We're making a big mess, are you sure it's okay for us to do it? He asked, extremely worried. Issei. Haha, that's just beginning, also don't regret it now, do it when you're outside. Haruka. Hyoudou, you're a great guy. Said since he didn't doubt things much. Meanwhile, on one of the antennas was Yuzum who was wondering who the one in the white armor was and where Issei was. Height of a building. Hamura. They're making it very flashy. Said looking at the whole spectacle, and Kazuhana took a good drink from her sake bottle. Kazuhana. Well, you know that fires and fights are Tito's flowers. She said until she felt a gust of lightning. Lightning, the direction of the wind has changed. She said, worrying Hamura. MBI building. The Kami. A report just came saying that the satellite surveillance system has gone down. He said, arriving where Minaka was and she was receiving a call. Is it me? Was there an explosion in the substation? Don't stress and panic, report the situation. He said and Minaka laughed amused. Sorry, contact me later. Minaka. A checkpoint to the north. Said, drawing Takami's attention. The Kami. What? Said, not understanding what was happening. Minaka. It seems that he has fallen into the control of some Sekirei. The Kami. Bastard, did you know this from the beginning? Said quite surprised. Minaka. Takami-kun, I am the master of the game is only interesting because the players have free will, as the master of the game, how can I not enjoy this? Room 201. Matsu. All train lines have been stopped. Seo call. Good. How is the inspection point? Matsu. Kusano-tan and Toyotama-tan's distracting operation has worked. I don't finish when I notice something strange. This is strange. Seo call. What's going on? Matsu. The soldiers are mobilizing very quickly. He said, noticing a large group of soldiers in a good mobilization. And their numbers increase. Call. This is an emergency broadcast, all members are informed, get out of there. Issei called. The situation is too bad for you to ask us to leave. Tell me, is there an escape route? Middle of the way to the bridge. Matsu called. There isn't, just get out of there. MBI probably knew about the plan. He said and Issei was very worried. Issei. No Ku-chan, Toyotama. Said looking at the bridge where Toyotama was carrying Kusano, waiting in case more enemies appeared, which did not take long since they both noticed several MBI cars. MBI building. Minaka. Kukuku, wow, it's getting interesting. Takami-kun. Substation. Seo. Heck, they saw through us, we're completely surrounded. Room 201. Matsu. I'm sending you an escape route. Said looking, but Seo stopped her. Seo called. We're fine, but the rest. Was going to say more when he got punched. Substation. Aiga. Sorry I confused you. Said a little embarrassed because she did get confused. Seo. Be more careful. He shouted a little angrily. You didn't break my cell phone. He said, seeing how it was broken and useless. Anyway, we're leaving here. He said while Asuka threw a slash that destroyed an MBI vehicle, causing an explosion. And continued destroying the others. Room 201. Matsu. Seo-tan. Seo-tan. She said a little worried since the call was suddenly cut off. What happened? Issei called. Matsu. Said calling to the girl. Middle of the way to the bridge. Matsu. Yes, what's happening? Issei. I'll go save Ku-chan and Toyotama. Matsu. Wait, Anata, how will you arrive? Not if you go, they could kill you, she said, quite worried and without remembering who she was talking to. Issei. Like any precious dragon. Said deactivating the White Emperor Dragon's armor. Balance breaker. He said, activating the balance breaker again, but Drake's. Drake. Scale mail balance breaker was heard and the armor appeared, surprising everyone due to the change in armor. Welsh Sonic Boost Knight was heard and the armor reduced in size, spreading its dragon wings. Issei. I'm ordering this to you girls, I'll come back quickly. he said, rushing out of the place at high speed. Mindfully, wait for me Kuu-chan, Toyotama. Reg. Boost 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 boost. Was heard while Issei flew at high speed. Room 201. Matsu. Anada. Said very worried since Issei cut off the call. I remember, Tsukiyumi. You have waxed in a place like this, which basically means not fighting at all. She remembered those words while looking at the screen where it showed the MBI cars arriving at Kusano and Toyotama. Middle of the way to the bridge. Musubi. Let's go. Said very animated. The Kari. Let's not waste time, honey, he'll catch up with us soon. Said so everyone ran towards the bridge. Room 201. Matsu. Anada, I'll help you, you'll see. Said while doing something on the computer. Izumo Villa roof. Tsukiyumi. Why am I so irritated? This has nothing to do with me, she said, but suddenly felt a tremor. What's happening? While she was surprised in the courtyard, there would be a hatch from which Matsu emerged on a motorcycle in a combat suit, surprising Tsukiyumi. Matsu. Anada, you gave me all your love, it's time for me to help you more. He said as he accelerated with the motorcycle. Tsukiyumi. Matsu. She said incredulously. Didn't you say you couldn't leave Izumo Villa? She said from the roof, being very surprised. Matsu. Ice-tan, my beloved, is there doing his best, risking his life as his wife. I must also take more risks if it's for him. She said, starting the motorcycle, and Tsukiyumi only watched her leave. Mia. Ara, wake up the neighborhood. Said watching him leave the place. City streets. Seo. They are sending armored vehicles too. He said as he looked around a corner of an alley. Soldier. Hey, you. He said, arriving at Seo, pointing his gun at him, but he was immediately knocked out by a light blow from Taiga. Taiga. They're everywhere. He said as he approached. Asuka. Hopefully they are okay. Said showing concern. Seo. The rest depends on how much luck they have. Said and the two nodded. Railway bridge. Hikari. Well, we're already on the bridge. Said with everyone gathered. Hibiki. Now we should start while Honey saves Kuu-chan and Toyotama. Aki. Teacher, I'm sure he can do it. Said and they all smiled in agreement. Pedestrian bridge. In the huge plant that Kusano created to immobilize the soldiers, Toyotama was carrying Kusano on brazos, while outside the plant the MBI soldiers surrounded the place. Soldier. Damn. He said, seeing all the soldiers trapped in the place, preventing them from using any firearm to destroy the place. You don't have the tear gas ready yet? He asked a soldier who was next to him. Soldier. Yes sir. Said, being ready to begin the attack, and inside the plant, Kusano was crying while Toyotama tried to calm her down. Toyotama. Don't worry, Kuu-chan, our master will come for us. He said, trying to calm the little girl who was sobbing. Kusano. Sniff on E-chan. Said through tears as he waited for Issei's arrival. Soldier. I aimed. I didn't finish saying when a huge gust of air hit the place. Issei, stay away from my girls. He shouted, alerting the soldiers who were looking in disbelief at a red armor that for some reason transmitted terror to them. Reg. Welsh Blaster Bishop, he said, changing the shape of the armor, revealing two powerful and enormous cannons. Issei, Dragon Blaster. He shouted, firing a powerful beam that killed everyone who was in the impact area, in addition to which Issei heard the sound of an engine arriving, and when he saw who it was, he was surprised while Kusano and Toyotama left the place. Matsu. Anada, you're pretty. Matsu entered the scene. He said, arriving at the place with a motorcycle and a rocket launcher on his shoulder. Kusano-tan, I'm here, mom. He said, arriving with everyone as Kusano and Toyotama hurried to get to Issei and Matsu. Kusano. Ani-chan. Ma-chan. She said, very happy to see how they came to save her. Toyotama. My beloved knew you would come for us. Issei. It seems I couldn't ask for a better wife. Said looking at Matsu, who smiled happily. Matsu. Phew, that's obvious. Anada, I'm the best. Come on Kusano-tan, Toyotama-tan, we have work to do. She said looking at a backpack that carried small capsules with small plants inside, making Kusano smile. Toyotama. Yes, let's do it. Said very excitedly, and so the two got on the motorcycle, while Kusano loaded the rocket launcher. Matsu. Good luck Anada. Kusano-tan, give them. Fire. He said, and the little girl began to shoot the small capsules with a rocket launcher that confused the soldiers until they exploded, releasing a huge plant that covered a large part of the streets, causing enormous collateral damage. We will paralyze the entire city so that don't have a chance to come for yourselves. She said, communicating with the others and with Issei, who answered the phone. MBI damage unit. Manager. There is an emergency situation in Block C, reports of a broken water pipe. Manager 2. There is a report of a civilian in Block D. Area head. Give me a report. What happened? Manager 3. This one in Block A, there is a giant plant. Railway bridge. Issei, being calmer, changed his armor back to that of a knight, but while he arrived, everyone began the operation again, with Musubi, Hikari and Hibiki knocking out the few soldiers on the bridge. Musubi. I'm sorry, please sleep a little. Said a little embarrassed. Hikari. Don't apologize, they're just idiots. Said while she and her sister finished off 2 others. Haruka. Incredible. Said when she saw how they killed them very easily. Akitsu. Let's go. Said calmly and simply so that everyone started running. Yukari department. Yukari. Gosh, how noisy it is outside. What time is it? She said lying on her bed to turn around finding Shiina looking out the window. What's wrong? Shiina. It's Ku. Said, seeing a huge plant that gave signs of Kusano's power, so they quickly changed their clothes and left the apartment. Yukari. Is this really Ku-chan? Said as she ran to Shiina's side. Shiina. I'm sure. Said as she ran without noticing those who were watching them. Ban. Mikagami. They came out at the right time. Said while Matsu and Juusa were sitting behind him. Railway bridge. Haruka. We're almost there. Said as she ran a little behind all the Sakurai. Musubi. Kuno-san is almost there. Said as he kept running but gave the girl a slight glance. Kuno. W good. Said trying to keep up the pace. Hikari. It won't be long, let's go. Said until something made them stop. Musubi. Please stop. Said noticing something in front. Hey guys, where do you think you're going? He said, starting to walk towards them. If you go a little further, you'll leave Tito. He continued walking with another person at his side, and Kuno was scared. The girls are trying to escape. They need a strong punishment. Haruka. They are. Disciplinary unit, number 104 Heihain. Said the blue Sakurai who had steel claws for her hands. From the same department, number 105, Benitsubasa. Said the red Sakurai who was wearing combat gloves. Haruka. The disciplinary unit. Said while holding Kuno. Damn. Musubi. Number 88 Musubi. Said in a fighting stance. Hikari. Number 11 Hikari. Hibiki. Number 12 Hibiki. Said the sisters as lightning bolts came out of their arms. Akitsu. Number 07 Akitsu. Said forming spikes of ice around him. Taki. Number 65 Taki. Said as the fog around became denser. Musubi. I will not lose to those younger than me. He said with great encouragement. I will make them let us cross the bridge. Issei. That's how Musubi-chan is spoken. Said arriving at the place, landing in the middle of both groups. Heihain. Who is it? Said very confused. Benitsubasa. I don't know who you are but don't cross our path, they will be punished. Issei. You say as if I'm going to let you hurt my girls. Said seriously as the division glove appeared. Musubi. Here I come. Said ready to fight. Hikari. Silly you must wait. Said while charging her attack. Hibiki. Let's show honey the fruit of training. Said looking at his sister who nodded. Akitsu. My husband too. Said, creating a large amount of ice spikes and Musubi began a duel of blows against Benitsubasa who were quite even since neither could land a blow, but Benitsubasa had it difficult since he had to dodge the spikes that Akitsu threw, making it more difficult to dodge. Benitsubasa. A physical type like me and supported by a long-range attack type is a very good combination. I have to finish them both at once. Have fun you know number 88, it seems that Kuro has his eyes on you. Musubi. Kuro. Said very confused while Issei sighed tiredly since she was easily distracted. Benitsubasa. Karasuba. You do not know. Let's say the flow of air. She said a little angry and Musubi was more confused. Musubi. Air. Flow. She said very confused and Heihain laughed amused. Heihain. Juju Benitsubasa, it's like your natural enemy. Benitsubasa. TSK damn I can't stand idiots. Said making Musubi angry. Musubi. You shouldn't call people idiots. Said and Hikari and Hibiki just looked at her since she really was an idiot and Akitsu had noticed it too, even Taki. Issei. This is not moving forward. Said, drawing attention, placing his hand in front of Benitsubasa, who became confused. Albion. Divide was heard and the girl fell to the floor as she lost strength. Benitsubasa. Hey, what did you do to me? She said lying on the floor trying to get up. Heihain. Interesting, it looks like I'll have fun. Benitsubasa. I'm furious. Villa Izumo. Tsukiyumi. I wonder if Issei feels as restless as I do. Said to start thinking a little. Mia. Tsukiyumi-san. Said, drawing the attention of the girl who was on the roof. You try to be the best so you can spend the rest of your life with Issei-san, right? She said, making Tsukiyumi blush. Tsukiyumi. Kasera. She said, very nervous and blushing since it was true. She promised she wouldn't say anything like that. Mia. Matsu-san, Ku-chan, their desire to be his wives, to do something for him is the same as yours, even if they have different ways of doing it. Tsukiyumi. Remember, Kusano. Tsu-chan, you're not a wife. He remembered what Kusano had told him that morning. Matsu. As his wife, I must also take more risks if it's for him. He remembered what happened a few minutes ago. Mia. If you don't do anything you will be left behind by Taki-san and Toyotama-san who recently arrived, and the others will take advantage. Said, greatly surprising Tsukiyumi, who imagined that situation. Railway bridge. Issei. I think I exaggerated, but well, the only mission is for them to escape, but just in case. He said, raising his hand again. Albion. Divide, said 2 more times, and she was extremely tired on the floor. And Itsubasa. I will make them understand what it means to go against the disciplinary unit. He said, beginning to emanate a red aura. Not only will I deactivate them, their punishment is death. He said, standing up while emanating more red aura. Greg. Boost. The voice was heard, confusing Benitsubasa and Heihain, since they did not understand what it was doing. Welsh Dragonik. It was heard, and the armor transformed his arms into abrupt and large ones. Benitsubasa. Jekishin. He said, giving a powerful blow to the ground, supposedly knocking Issei over, but she was surprised to see that he was flying, returning to her. Issei, solid impact, he said, giving a powerful blow, sending Benitsubasa flying, who couldn't stand it, fainting from the powerful blow. Haruka. What is happening? Said, very surprised. Villa Izumo. Tsukiyumi. Issei. Said, already having an idea of what he should do. I am his legitimate wife. He said with great seriousness in his voice. Landlady Dono, I'm going out. He said, looking at Mia. Mia. Please be careful. Tsukiyumi. As his true wife I must always be by his side. Said, quickly going to the place. Railway bridge. In the middle of the fight, Heihain took the opportunity to approach Haruka and Kuno without the others, realizing due to the destruction that was on the bridge. Heihain. What are you going to do? He said, looking at both of them who were separated from the group. Kuno. I would use a prayer. He said, surprising Haruka. Haruka-sama, I love you. He said as he approached his Ashikabi's lips, planting a kiss. Under this contract song, I will display the light in my Ashikabi's path. He said, starting a beautiful melody that caused Heihain to fall to the ground. Heihain. What's with that voice? My strength is leaving me, she said while everyone looked at her, very impressed by her voice. What a beautiful voice, she said before collapsing to the ground. I really feel like I'm losing my strength. Haruka. Behold. This is Kuno's final attack, the weakening song. She said with great pride, thinking that it was an incredible name. Kuno. Mindfully, Haruka-sama, don't give him strange names. He thought, almost bringing a tear to his eyes from grief. Heihain. This very comfortable feeling of weakness, I no longer care about discipline or whatever. Said, falling asleep. Haruka. There is no. Said when the song ended and Kuno spat blood. Kuno, hey Kuno. He said while holding the girl who after a while opened her eyes. Kuno. Haruka-sama, I was useful. Said while looking him in the eyes. Haruka. You're not really useless. He said to approach her to share the warmth. But to me, you're the most useful kind of useless. He said, and everyone didn't understand his way of expressing his affection. Kuno. Haruka-sama, that doesn't even make sense. Said, and just then Benitsubasa and Heihain were recovering a little, but the more injured Benitsubasa was writhing a little from the damage, and Heihain was touching her head. Benitsubasa. What's supposed to be happening? She said, leaning on one of the bridge's railings. Do you at least understand the situation you're in? They are just simple monkeys in our path, she said, launching herself to attack, but she received an attack that sent her flying. Tsukiyumi. MBI toys, Sekirei inferior to stray dogs. Said inside a pillar of water that rose through the hole that Benitsubasa made a few moments ago. You are the ones who will be disciplined. Issei. I didn't think you were coming. Said still in the armor, and she looked at him quite surprised, and she thought he was wearing a white one. Benitsubasa. Is she with them? He said on the ground, breathing tiredly. What's wrong with you? You just arrived and you meddle where you are not called, she said, getting up carefully and very slowly. Tsukiyumi. Shut up, you couldn't beat my husband, you won't be anything against me. I number 09 Tsukiyumi, I will finish you off. Benitsubasa. Is it another one of a number? Said very surprised and worried. Tsukiyumi. Water arrows. Said, launching water balls that shot at high speed that Benitsubasa dodged with difficulty, and when she thought about counterattacking, she was stopped by Musubi. Benitsubasa. TSK, how annoying, blue. Said, calling to her partner who launched the attack but was intercepted by an attack. Hikari Hibiki. Lightning Dragon. They both said, and the attack strongly impacted Heihain, enhancing the damage from his metal claws. Tsukiyumi. Let's just finish this with this heart blade that the landlady Dono gave me. He said, and a blade with water formed in his hand. My water blade. He said, ready to launch the attack. Height of a building. Himura. They make it seem like the discipline unit is very weak. Said, keeping a calm voice, but she was very impressed. Asahana. I'm leaving. She said, getting up from where she was sitting. If I'm going to look, it's better to look where the action is. See you later. She said goodbye before jumping off the building. Himura. Hi to Issei, what else are you hiding? Asked into the air as it became more mysterious every time she saw it. Railway bridge. Thus began a battle between Tsukiyumi and Musubi against Benitsubasa and Heihain, which was dominated by both girls. Musubi. Let's go, Tsukiyumi-san. Said, launching a combination of blows that hit Benitsubasa, and some managed to make her spit out blood. Tsukiyumi. Just finish it. Said as she launched slashes with her water blade that Heihain dodged with difficulty until at one point, Tsukiyumi caught her off guard by launching a slash that slammed her into the ground. Benitsubasa. TSK, you will surely interfere with Natsuo's plans, I can't let you live. He said, and Heihain launched himself to attack Musubi and Tsukiyumi so that Benitsubasa would try to finish off Issei. All seen by Yuzum and Kazuhana. Although Yuzum wanted to intervene, Kazuhana told him. Prevented. Asahana. Let me see how much you've grown up. Said from afar with Yuzum at one side. Dreg. Welsh Sonic Boost Knight. Dreg's voice was heard and his armor was reduced, and when Benitsubasa was about to hit, Issei was no longer there. Benitsubasa. Huh? Said, very confused to receive multiple blows that she couldn't see. City. While that fight was taking place, Yukari and Shiina walked in search of Kusano, but all they found were the enormous plants that Kusano left behind. Yukari. What is this? Asked, very surprised to see giant plants. Shiina. There is no doubt, the only person who could have done this is Ku. Said as she walked until she stopped when she heard something, and when she turned around she noticed a light in the distance that was getting closer and closer. Matsu. My access to the satellites is probably reaching its limit. Said, stopping his motorcycle. Toyotama. No need to worry, our beloved will be able to do it. Said with great confidence. Matsu. I'll still try to contact Ice Tan. Said, touching his communicator to contact him and far away from them. Yukari. What's wrong? I ask when I see Shiina standing. Shiina. I can feel it. Said, seeing where the light of the motorcycle began to approach, and Kusano felt it too. Railway bridge. Benitsubasa. Ah. Ah. He screamed with every hit he received, and Issei was so focused that he didn't hear the phone. City. Matsu. Anada doesn't answer me. She said, very worried. She said, looking at the two, but Kusano was looking in one direction. Toyotama. Hey Ku-chan, are you okay? He asked when he saw that the little girl was looking in one direction. Matsu. Kusano-tan, is something wrong? He said, seeing her distracted, but she just denied, not understanding what she was feeling. Let's hurry up and go to the bridge. He said, accelerating while Ku looked in Shiina's direction again without her knowing it. Shiina. Ku. She shouted, arriving at the place, but they had already left, but Mikagami and Matsu were there. Who is there? She said when she saw the two men, although Mikagami approached Shiina holding him by the shoulders, preventing him from escaping. Yukari. Hey, where do you think you're touching? Said very angrily, seeing how they were holding Shiina. Mikagami. Do you leave him alone despite being so beautiful? Said, looking at Yukari, who was confused, and Matsu was approaching, and she felt someone behind her, finding Jusa, who was holding his staff. Yukari. Who are you? Said, very confused. Mikagami. Be mine. Said while he had one of his hands on Shiina's cheek, and Matsu unsheathed his sword, easily cutting a part of the plant, giving a warning to Yukari not to come closer. Yukari. What is this? She said, very terrified while trembling. This is not real, right? She said in disbelief, refusing to believe that this was possible. Railway bridge. Benitsubasa. How come a simple monkey defeated me? She said, lying on the floor in great pain and with quite difficult breathing. Issei. I don't know what monkey you're talking about in front of a dragon, one who would always fight for the girls I love. Said, raising his aura that made Benitsubasa tremble, but he had a slight blush, and Heihain continued his fight against Musubi and Tsukiyumi. Musubi. For love, he said as that echoed everywhere. City. Shiina. I just heard a voice. Said, turning to look at Yukari, who did not understand. Mikagami. Matsu. Said, and the aforementioned raised his sword a little. Matsu. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to kill you. Said, standing in front of Yukari, and Shiina ran to help her. Shiina. Careful. said, jumping and managing to prevent Yukari from receiving a cut, but they both ended up on top of each other. Yukari-san, she said while looking at the girl who had a slight blush. Yukari, Shiina said while looking at him. Shiina, I love you, said with a smile. Yukari, me too, responded in the same way to give him a kiss, taking out her sky blue wings. Mind, sorry, but this is not my first kiss. That's what I thought. While Matsu was confused and Mikagami very angry. Mikagami, hey Matsu. He gave her his wings. He said, pointing to the scene in front of him. Shiina, may the corpse of my contract make my Ashikabi's cross rust, said, surprising the two Sekiryutei. Garden at the end of the world, she said, emanating a purple energy that began destroying all the plants in the place. Matsu, this is bad energy, said while escaping with Mikagami and Juusa. Railway bridge. Musubi. If someone opposes love, I number 08 Yum, the Sekiryutei of destiny, will fight them, said, surprising everyone since she had her Sekiryutei wings. Issei. What? Said, very confused. Tsukiyumi Hikari Hibiki Akitsu Taki. Who? They said, very confused. Garuka Kuno. What is happening? They said, not understanding anything. And Itsubasa Heihain. How? Said, just as confused as the others. Yum. When did the disciplinary unit become a pile of abusers? Said with a serious face very different from the smiling Musubi. As their senpai, I must punish them. And Itsubasa. Don't fuck with me, she said very angrily as she stood up calmly. I don't understand what you're talking about. Heihain, she said, calling her partner who launched the attack, but what they didn't expect was that Yum Musubi was carrying a kind of energy attack that expanded and then compressed to launch a powerful attack on his two attackers, who they evaded as best they could since it was very powerful. Issei. That's almost like a dragon blaster, said, quite surprised that Musubi could do something like that. While behind everyone came Matsu, Kusano and Toyotama. Kusano. Su-chan, said, making everyone turn around when they recognized the voice. Matsu. Girls, what was that light? Asked everyone who didn't understand very well either. And Itsubasa. What the hell was that? Said, more scared than she already was, and Yum approached them both. Heihain. W, who are you? Asked, and she stopped in front of them. Yum. The leader of MBI's S-Plan and the leader of the disciplinary unit, the Sekiryutei of destiny, number 08 Yum. Issei. Musubi, are you feeling alright? Asked, a little worried about his girl. Matsu. She is well. Anada. The Plan S-Plan is the old name of the Sekiryutei project. Issei. Beautiful, said when he saw Matsu at his side, as well as receiving a hug from Kusano, and he removed his helmet. Ku-chan, good job, you too Toyotama, he said, looking at his other Sekiryutei who smiled proudly. Akitsu. Husband, said, coming to her side along with the others. And Itsubasa. Leader, she said while holding on to one of the railings of the place to stay standing. The leader of the disciplinary unit is Karasuba, she said before Yum held her and Heihain's legs. Yum. It seems that they still lack love, they are not yet true members of the disciplinary unit, she said, beginning to spin around herself, reaching a great speed, which made the two Sekiryutei dizzy. Try again later, she said, throwing both girls very far from there. Issei. Musubi just had to defeat them, he shouted, very worried. Tsukiyumi Akitsu Matsu Taki Toyotama Hikari Hibiki. She threw them, they said, very surprised, just like Kusano, but she didn't say anything out of surprise. Tsukiyumi. They didn't even let me fight much, said, thinking that it was unnecessary to have arrived. Haruka. That was pretty incredible, said while Kuno was a little scared and she turned around scaring the Sekiryuteis, and Issei just looked at her confused. Yum. Ah, this place is full of love, said with a cute smile while shining. The strong hearts that think of others without worrying about themselves, flaming hearts that think of their companions and masters, and she said, approaching Issei, putting her hand on his cheek. Your feelings for Musubi, such a warm heart. That beautiful heart was what woke me up, she said, to put Issei on her breasts to the jealousy of all her Sekiryutei including Kusano. Tsukiyumi. What are you trying to do? Hikari. Hey, don't take advantage of the moment, said very angrily. Hibiki. You're evil Musubi. Akitsu. If my husband wants, he can also do mine, said, looking at her breasts, thinking that Issei might like to try it. Aki. You can also take care of mine, said with a beautiful smile as he imagined it. Toyotama. It's not fair, said quite angrily. Tsukiyumi. Stay away from her, Issei. Yum. Your warm heart flows inside me, Musubi has found someone very good. Tsukiyumi. You are a scoundrel. Enough of. She didn't finish when Matsu interrupted her. Matsu. Calm down, Tsukiyumi, said, and on the other side of the bridge Karasuba appeared, so Yum let go of Issei. Issei. You are, he said, recognizing who was coming. Matsu. The Sakurai Kuro. Said a little scared. Karasuba. So, you finally showed up. You look good, Karasuba. Said with a smile. Karasuba. I am very, very happy to be able to see you again. She said with a sharp look and smile, unsheathing her sword and running towards her. She shouted, launching herself into the attack, but was blocked by another sword. Issei. I'm sorry, but I won't let anyone hurt the people I love. Said with Ascalon in hand, while Drake made several increases. Karasuba, I'm not supposed to be the one to fight with you. She said behind Issei, who keeps blocking Karasuba's attacks. The one who will get in your way one day will surely be. She said, and Musubi just returned. Musubi. Huh. Karasuba-sama. She said, and Karasuba stopped attacking. I think I fell asleep. She said, a little confused as she didn't remember anything, and Karasuba relaxed. Karasuba. So you fell asleep, you must double your training so that doesn't happen. Musubi. Yes, I will, Karasuba-sama. Said very excitedly. Issei did not understand the change. Issei. It seems like you're back to being yourself. Said, and Musubi noticed it. Musubi. Issei-san. She said with a smile, and he hugged her lovingly. Issei-san. She said, a little confused by the sudden hug, but she was happy under Karasuba's gaze. Tsukiyumi. Sakurai Kuro, if you will also get in our way then. He said, but Karasuba spoke. Karasuba. Don't you have something to worry about besides me? Said without much interest or desire in her voice, and a sound caught everyone's attention. Tsukiyumi. What is that sound? I asked, a little confused. Matsu. The satellite is back online. Said when he saw his helmet, where he noted that fact, and the satellite was preparing to launch a powerful beam, which divided the bridge. Tsukiyumi. Issei. Musubi. Get out of there right now. She said, very worried. Issei. Shigi, Kuno. Said as he saw how they fell until a white cloth caught them and a blizzard of air lifted them up, although Issei carried Musubi as he flew, landing where the others. Hey, you're fine. He shouted on the other side of the bridge, but they did not respond because of the enormous surprise they had. Kuno. A cloak was wrapped around us. He said in disbelief. Haruka. And the wind blew and we fell here. Said just as incredulous as Kuno. Issei. Wind, huh? Said a little confused. Tsukiyumi. A cloak. Said, and after a while left the place. City sunrise. In the middle of the dawn, Shiina could be seen looking at what was left of Kusano's plants, and Yukari arrived at her side. Shiina. Yukari-san. Said, and she stretched out her hand. Yukari. From now on we are together. Said, and he took the girl's hand. Shiina. Yes, we will be together forever. Said, and all the plants in the place fell due to Shiina's attack, although Seo was in an alley with his two Sakurai. Aiga. First all those trees come out of nowhere. She said, quite surprised. Asuka. And now they are falling apart. Said, not understanding what was happening. Railway bridge. Haruka. Haidu, won't you come with me? Said from the other side, his armor disappearing. Issei. I'm sorry, there are some things I have to do here, you know. He said calmly to look at the girls. Haruka. It's true, good luck with that, let's go, Kuno. He said, so that both of them began to run towards the other side of the bridge. Good luck, Haidu. He said before walking far away. Let's meet again. Issei. I hope so. Said to look at everyone with a smile. A little out of the way place. Hazahana. Young lovers headed for the morning sun, romantic, isn't it? Said watching the scene. Yuzum. Yes it is. Said to touch his lips with her fingers. Hazahana. Mindfully, I want to see more Issei, my destined one, the love of my life, my ice-kun. She thought with a beautiful smile and a beautiful pink on her cheeks. City. Meanwhile Karasuba walked calmly while cars and armored trucks from MBI passed by him. Karasuba. Mind, get strong quickly, Musubi. He thought as he walked away. Railway bridge. Tsukiyumi. We've already seen them off safely, let's go before MBI arrives. He said looking at everyone. Matsu. Yes, Kusano-tan, it's time to go. Said looking at the little girl, and she obeyed the order. Bakitsu. Let's go, husband. Said taking Issei's arm. Aki. If master, you must reward us for our efforts. Said while taking his other arm. Toyotama. Yes, my beloved, we expect a good reward. Said hugging Issei from behind, and they all smiled to hug him. Bakari Hibiki. Don't forget about us, darling. Matsu. It's true, Anata, we try very hard. Tsukiyumi. Yes, husband. Issei. I will do it, I promise, hold on tight. He said, and a circle appeared beneath him and the motorcycle to quickly take them to Villa Izumo. Villa Izumo. News. MBI has released a statement insisting that there is no connection between the sudden appearance of massive plants that occurred yesterday morning for an unknown reason. Kusano, Shai-chan, said when he saw the news. Higa Asuka. Sorry. We're sorry. As always, we are very sorry. They said while bowing many times in front of Mia. Mia. It's okay, although this is the third day in a row I also heard that Issei-sen paid you very well and you shouldn't be short of money. She said and a Hanyu mask appeared behind Mia, scaring Seo. Issei. Ah, it seems like these days will never end. Said and they all fed Issei so there would be no problems. Tsukiyumi. Hey, this is the work of the first wife. Said looking at everyone. Akitsu. Husband say ah. Said holding out a spoon which Issei gladly accepted. Aki. Love here. Said very happy at the thought that this is what he should call his Ashikabi. Toyotama. Beloved take. Said with a huge spoon. Bakari Hibiki. Honey, ah. Said the two with 2 spoons that they put into Issei's mouth. Musubi. Issei-san. How's this one? She said with a smile. Kusano. Ah. Said feeding Issei. Tsukiyumi. Hey little one. Said very angry when she saw Kusano feeding Issei and everything was seen by Matsu who was very amused by the scene. MBI office. The Kami. That number 08 was reactivated and number 88 is impossible, this needs detailed investigation. Car. Mikagami. Gosh, I can't believe he took wings right in front of me. He said quite relaxed along with Matsu and Juusa. I wonder if there are new Sekirei out there. Matsu? You are very stingy. He said looking at his Ashikabi. How many do you think you have? MBI. Then it's Abasa. I will never forgive her girl with the melons and that stupid monkey. Said very hurt. Hey Hain. Yours are Jujuju raisins. Said mocking her. Then it's Abasa. And what? Natsuo doesn't like big breasts. Natsuo. You've been in a good mood lately. Parasuba. Did you notice? Said while cleaning his sword. Natsuo. Did something good happen? Parasuba. Yes, things will get fun from now on. Said while contemplating the edge of his sword. Hospital. Uzum. Then he ran at high speed just to save her. Said telling her about last night in a slightly distorted way and the girl enjoyed the story. Hospital office. The help number 95 escape. Yeah. It is an act of betrayal towards you. No, it's still worth using it, he said, and behind him was that man in a suit and 2 Sekireis who were only listening. Ali. Sekirei. He's too strong. He said as he fell to the ground. Boy. Who is she? Said until he received a kick in the crotch, making him hold on due to the pain. Yukari. Hey, you. Said, drawing the boy's attention. Boy. What? Yukari. Do you know where Sekirei number 108 is? Izumo Villa roof. Bugari. Damn. Said quite pained until she noticed some sakura petals. Kazuhana. Our bodies are honest, right? Said sitting next to Kagari who was surprised to see her. Kagari. What are you talking about? Said and Kazuhana noticed Issei leaving. Issei. I'll be back later, darlings. Said with a smile, thinking about getting a gift for everyone. Akitsu. I'll be waiting for you. Said calmly. Tsukiyumi. Do you really have to go to those classes? Said not wanting him to leave. Issei. If I have to go I will need a good job when we have a child to give him many non-precious things. Said and Akitsu smiled at the thought and Tsukiyumi blushed. Musubi. See you later, Issei-san. Said very excitedly next to Kusano. Kusano. Goodbye. Hikari. A loving baby. Said very happily. Hibiki. 1 or 2 or more. Said, imagining a big family. Aki. That would make me very happy love. Said with a smile. Toyotama. I will be waiting for that moment, my beloved. Tsukiyumi. I had told them all along that saying goodbye to one's husband is the first wife's task. Said very angrily since almost everyone was there. Musubi. I am also his first wife. Said with the usual spirit. Akitsu. I am the royal wife. Said with a smile. Hikari Hibiki. We are the wives of affection. Aki. I will not be left behind, I will also be my love's wife. Toyotama. I will also be the wife of my beloved Ashikabi, I will not lose to you. Said smiling arrogantly and Matsu saw this very amused. Issei. Haha I love you all. Said calming everyone who smiled under the gaze of Kazuhana who could feel the love of the entire group. Kazuhana. The Sekirei react and feel attracted when they see the person, whether they want it or not. Said surprising Kagari who turned around noticing that Kazuhana was no longer there. Kagari. Damn. MBI Tower. Manaka. In fact, the story is not over yet. Said with great emotion. No, the story ruled by the little birds is just beginning. Ha ha ha. It was a beautiful day, the sun was shining, but it was not too hot, a clear sky that would make you want to fly and touch the clouds on that day. Kusano, Kuu-chan, was watering the flowers at the entrance of Villa Izumo with great happiness until he heard some footsteps in the distance, so he stopped, noticing that what he heard was the usual shopping competition where Musubi, Tsukiyumi and Toyotama led the way, followed by Hikari and Hibiki, who were not far behind, quickly passing by Kusano, who was surprised. Musubi. I'm back, said announcing his arrival. Toyotama. We're back, said a little dejected having placed second. Tsukiyumi. Ah, said collapsing on the floor from exhaustion. Hikari. Ah, we're having a hard time. Hibiki, said quite sadly since they lost again. Hibiki. We don't have to be discouraged. Hikari, we will beat Musubi and you'll see, he said with great confidence. Musubi. Ah, homemade, said watching Mia arrive at the place. Mia. Welcome back, said with a smile. You won today, Musubi-san. Musubi. Yes. This makes it 10 in a row, she said with great encouragement. Toyotama. You'll see, I'll beat you next time, said while looking at Musubi. Hikari. Hibiki. If next time we will be the winners, both said with great determination. Mia. Everyone is doing their best, you too. Tsukiyumi-san. Good job, said looking at the girl who was still lying on the floor until she stood up while her face reflected anger. Dining room. After the morning shopping of the day, everyone sat at the table to enjoy the food, although Issei was a bit surrounded since on his right was Kusano, on his left was Musubi, but on his back was Akitsu, who did not like to leave Issei's side, so which she took from Issei's food, who without problems, shared it with her, although Tsukiyumi was very upset at having lost. Kusano. Take said stretching out a grilled sausage making Issei smile happily. Issei. How cute my Kuu-chan said accepting the little girl's detail, but Musubi and the others also wanted to do it. Musubi. Let me give you some fish, said also wanting to feed Issei, although Kusano was upset that they copied him. Akitsu. My husband too, said, holding out his chopsticks with some of his fish. Hikari. Hibiki. Honey, let's say they said with a big smile. Aki. Love, look, he said stretching out his chopsticks. Say it's with all my love, he said with a smile full of affection. Toyotama. Beloved, look at the little plane, said, making almost everyone sweat. Since Matsu saw this as funny, Mia enjoyed the love that the girls showed for Issei, but Tsukiyumi was very upset. Issei. Thank you all very much, I'll eat one by one, okay, he said, and they all nodded happily, but Tsukiyumi controlled the water in her miso soup by throwing it out of the plate out of anger, and Issei was worried. Matsu. Fufufu Anada is very affectionate, I should join too, he said, making Tsukiyumi even more angry, who had a vein on his head. Issei. That would make me happy, beautiful, he said to Matsu's happiness. By the way, Musubi-chan, he said, and she turned around. Musubi. Yes, asked, maintaining his smile. Issei. How about we rotate that position? Tsukiyumi. He didn't finish speaking when Tsukiyumi spoke. Tsukiyumi. I refuse, she said, surprising Issei. Leaving little Kusano aside, she said, turning Kusano, who looked at her. The position of the legally married wife is still mine, she said, showing a ring on her finger, but the others, they also had a clear one, they were all different. It wouldn't make any sense if I didn't fight for it, he said seriously, and Kusano was very upset. Issei. But fight for a seat, said a little worried about that. Tsukiyumi. That's important, husband, it's about our pride as legally married wives, said, and Kusano stood up from his seat. Issei. Is something wrong happening? Kuu-chan asked, very worried when she saw her get up. Kusano. I'm his wife too. That's why I'll also participate in the shopping race, she said, surprising everyone in the dining room, and Mia was smiling happily, and when the meal was over, Kusano began her training. Kusano. Said as he ran through the house. Issei. That's already her 11th return, she's really very determined, said with a smile. Matsu. But there is a problem, she said, drawing everyone's attention. Kusano-tan has never gone out on her own, not to mention that she could get lost, she said, and everyone knew that she was right. Tsukiyumi. But anything we say is useless considering the state she is in now, said, thinking that talking to her would be useless because of how excited she was. Mia. Kuu-chan has always wanted to help us all, she said while pouring herself a little more tea. It's because she's the smallest, she wants to do the best just like the others, she said, and everyone understood. Tsukiyumi. I understand your feelings, said, and everyone nodded. Issei. But I'm still worried that something will happen to him, said, and everyone understood it, although they compared him more like a worried father. Matsu. If that's the case, we're all going to help her, said while she adjusted her glasses and they gave off a shine. "Hikari, what do you mean?" said not understanding until Matsu began a highly strategic plan that included everyone's help and Kusano continued a race through the house. Izumo Villa entrance. Having everything ready, all of Issei Sekiryuutei except Matsu were at the entrance ready to make the day's purchases. "Musubi, I'm leaving," said with great enthusiasm. "Akitsu, husband, I will return," said calmly, maintaining a more relaxed face as he finally expressed his emotions a little more. "Aki, love, I'll see you in a bit," he said with a smile while holding one of his cheeks. "Toyotama, my beloved, see you," said with great enthusiasm. "Hikari Hibiki, take care, darling, and wait for us," they both said in unison. "Tsukiyumi, husband, I'm leaving too," said very seriously but had a smile. "Kusano, I'm leaving," said very animated, raising her little arm. "Mia, good luck," said to the side of Issei who was smiling at them all. "Issei, Ku-chan, try hard," said to give the little girl more encouragement. Kusano, "Yes," said very animated thanks to Issei's encouragement. "Musubi, so. Tsukiyumi, let the shopping race begin," said and they all looked ahead, having their goal very fixed and thus beginning, and that they all went at high speed and Kusano was going at her safe pace, all seen by Issei and Mia who were following them. They watched him walk away with a smile. "Girls, everyone knows what to do, right?" They all, "Yes," said in unison. "Aki, secretly follow Ku-chan. Toyotama, and let her win this race, right?" said a little doubtfully, but she didn't want to see Kusano sad. "Tsukiyumi, that's right, later we will have this competition between us. Akitsu, let's do it," said, ready to help. "Hikari, if we do our best. Hibiki, for the little Ku-chan," said and they all looked at the little girl who was behind them while Matsu hacked the MBI satellite to always keep an eye on Kusano. Room 201. "Matsu, the system is ready," he said, looking at his monitor where everyone's location appeared. "No matter where I go, I will know where it is." Izumo Villa entrance. "Issei, I'm glad to see that everyone is working together for Ku-chan after all. For now she's like our daughter, right Mia-san?" "Mia, it's true, Issei-san is our daughter, besides this is thanks to you," she said, confusing Issei who didn't understand what he had done. "It's thanks to you that they are all together, they are all good girls," she said with a smile that made Issei happy. Issei, thank you Mia-san, since we have time, how about that friendly duel, and then we can talk a little. "Mia, I think it's a good idea Issei-san, come on," she said with a smile, entering the house to take her katana for her duel with Issei. Neighborhood streets. Something extremely curious was happening in the streets since Kusano was being watched by all the Sekiryuutei who were confused since Kusano was looking for something, but they understood it immediately. "Musubi, Ku-chan lost his way," said while looking at Kusano who didn't know where to go. "Tsukiyumi, but the landlady Dono should have given him a map, right?" "Aki, if he did, he put it in his shopping bag." "Hikari, it's true but I seem to forget." "Toyotama, what do we do as we tell him about the map?" said trying to think of something until Tsukiyumi's phone rang. "Tsukiyumi, what's wrong?" said answering the phone. "Matsu, Kusano-tan didn't take the anticipated route," said, watching as it turned off onto another street and the girls had just noticed it. "Hibiki, we have to do something now," said and they all nodded. "Tsukiyumi, let's do something girls, but now," said I, everyone mobilized, but Akitsu thought of something quick, running with Musubi until Akitsu raised a wall of ice preventing Kusano from continuing to walk down that street and she got confused. "Kusano, huh?" said very confused by the sudden blockage. "Musubi, the path is blocked, please use a different route," said while covering his nose, giving a different tone to his voice, and Kusano came out of surprise. "Kusano, yes," said very excitedly, returning along the right path, but Musubi spoke again. "Musubi, it's better to take a look at your map if you brought one," said the same as before, covering her nose so that he wouldn't recognize her, and Kusano remembered that there was a map in her bag, and Akitsu and Musubi returned to the others who were relieved. "Akitsu, you did a good job, and we also managed to get him to use the map without having to show us, it was perfect," she said very cheerfully, but the ice pillar was still there. "Tsukiyumi, good job Musubi, Akitsu," said looking at both of them who were proud of what they had done. Room 201. "Matsu, does this count as not revealing your identity and solving the problem?" said looking at the ice pillar that seemed not to melt. "Street. Aki, if you continue straight, you will reach the store," said very happy to think that he would make it. "Toyotama, almost made it," said believing that until something happened. "Kusano, Nyan. He said, running towards a street where he saw a cute kitten. Kitten. Meow. Meowed to walk and Kusano followed him. Tsukiyumi. I entered the alley. Said, very surprised. Musubi. Seems to be following the cat. Said with a smile while looking at the others who were very worried. Hibiki. But what? Said, very angry because she was already very close to arriving while the cat climbed the fence that divided the houses and Kusano tried to reach it until she noticed some red boxes that she decided to use to climb and reach the cat. Toyotama. It seems like that will fall at any moment. Said, quite worried. Tsukiyumi. If she continues she will be in deep danger. Said, very worried about the little girl until she received a call from Matsu. Matsu. Deviated from his route again, he said calmly, but most of them were not so calm. Taki. We already know that. Screamed, extremely worried. Tsukiyumi. Yes, you better shut up. This is not the time to talk about that. He shouted, scaring Matsu, but they all heard the sound of the boxes that were ready to fall, and they all ran to protect Kusano. Hibiki. That's not good. Said as she ran with the others. But instead the boxes fell on top of everyone who was just lying on the ground, trying to see who caught Kusano. Taki. There, who caught her? Said a little sore from the blow, looking for Kusano. Musubi. Girls, Ku-chan is here. Said looking up at the fence, and everyone became even more worried when she saw that she was about to jump. Hikari. No. Don't do that. She said, extremely worried. Tsukiyumi. It's not good. Said, and Kusano jumped to chase the cat and Tsukiyumi, Taki and Akitsu jumped over the fence to try to catch Kusano, but when they got to the other side, they saw how she had landed on some blankets that were there. And noting that she was fine relieving them until she continued her pursuit. Tsukiyumi. Damn. If this continues, she said, so that the three of them took a long jump to chase her, followed by Hikari, Hibiki and Toyotama. Musubi. Girls, where are you going? I asked when I saw how everyone was leaving the place and Musubi's phone was ringing. Matsu. Why are you taking such a complicated route? Musubi. By Mr. Cat. Said with a complicated smile, being a bit amusing to her. Matsu. Who? Said, and Musubi began to explain while Kusano entered a garden where the cat had entered and Tsukiyumi and the others arrived. Tsukiyumi. Water arrow. Launched her attack to scare the cat, which she succeeded in doing. Taki. We could make the cat go to the store and then I hide the cat with my fog. Said, and everyone agreed, even Musubi who arrived just a few moments later. Tsukiyumi. It's a very good plan, Taki, let's all go. Said, and they all nodded and began to guide the cat. Musubi and Toyotama threw objects so that it deviated from the path while Tsukiyumi, Akitsu, Hikari and Hibiki launched attacks in the same way to deflect the path. Path of the cat, all that seen by Matsu from his monitors. Room 201. Matsu. They are already approaching the stores, but what is this? Said, seeing all the destruction they left in the streets. Maruyama's supermarket. After a long time of jazzing and guiding the cat, they had finally succeeded and they took Kusano to the store. Kusano. The kitten has disappeared. Said, not finding the cat that managed to escape thanks to Taki hiding it with a fog. Tsukiyumi. We finally guided her to her destination. She said, a little relieved, and everyone's clothes were a little dirty. Musubi. Yes, now what's left is to buy the carrots and potatoes. Said that, but Kusano was in the meat area looking very confused at a fish and everyone was confused. Toyotama. Tell me it's a lie. Said, very shocked when she thought of a possibility. Musubi. Ku-chan forgot what to buy. Said as they looked at her. Taki. It's very possible. Said, very worried about what they could do now. Tsukiyumi. But what the hell? Said, watching Kusano holding a fish, trying to remember if that was what they had asked of him. Musubi. I have a brilliant idea. She said, and everyone looked at her waiting for the idea. Hikari. Whisper, is this your brilliant idea? Said while everyone had a hat and a trench coat so that Kusano wouldn't recognize them. Tsukiyumi. Whisper, why do we have to dress so strangely? Musubi. Stuffy nose, that's no use girls, you have to use a different tone of voice. Told everyone who didn't feel very convinced, but they did it. Taki. Stuffy nose, you know, I think some carrots and potatoes are a good thing to buy. Hikari. Hibiki. Stuffy nose, yes, carrots and potatoes. Tsukiyumi. Stuffy nose, I really feel like buying carrots and potatoes right now. Musubi. Stuffy nose, me too, if I had to buy something it would be carrots and potatoes. They said, and Kusano turned to listen. Toyotama. Stuffy nose, yay carrots. Akitsu. Stuffy nose and potatoes. They said, and Kusano just remembered the order, completing it successfully while everyone already had theirs, and then seeing how Kusano happily left the store with her map in hand. Tsukiyumi. Well, now we just need to go home. Said, and they all nodded. Sunset Street. Kusano walked calmly down the street while the others looked at her in the distance, and Kusano looked at the house. Matsu. Kusano-tan finally arrived home safely. Said quite relieved, notifying the others who were only a few streets away from home of the success of the mission. Secluded streets. Tsukiyumi. Now the real battle begins. He said, looking at everyone who had a serious look and a confident smile. I'm better with my explosive exit, the seat on the right is mine. He said with great confidence, and they all smiled defiantly. All of them. We will not lose. Said all of them to begin their race in which none of them gave up, all of them being together, and when they arrived, they could not see who of all of them arrived first. Izumo Villa entrance. Tsukiyumi. Who came first? Said a little tired. Hikari. I don't know. Said just as tired. Aki. What a problem. Said while catching her breath like the others. Musubi. Huh. Where is Ku-chan? I asked, and everyone looked for her around the place until they found her. Kusano. Su-chan, Aki-chan, Mu-chan, Hik-chan, Hib-chan, Ta-chan, Tu-chan. Said calling to the girls who saw her enter through the gate. Tsukiyumi, Musubi, others. Kusano. Ku-chan. They all said, very confused since they thought she had already arrived, but she approached them all with a smile and hugged them. Kusano. Thank you. Said very happily, hugging everyone who was surprised. They all followed me secretly and helped me a lot, right? He said, surprising everyone even more. Room 201. Matsu. Well, it would be surprising if that wasn't clear now. Said while listening to the conversation. Entrance. Kusano. I'm not able to shop for myself, that's why I lost the shopping race. Said while Tsukiyumi hugged her, and they all looked at each other and nodded with a smile. Tsukiyumi. You didn't earn the right to be on his right side. He said, surprising the little girl. Kusano, you did well on your first errand. He said while caressing the little girl's head. This is enough for you to have the title of wife. He said, of course. Calm and loving manner. Because of your honesty, Issei's right side will be yours forever, right girls? He said, looking at the others. Akitsu. Yes. Said calmly while nodding. Aki. Ku-chan will be a nice wife. He said with a kind smile. Toyotama. If you have earned it. Hikari. You've tried so hard. Hibiki. Yes, we are proud. Musubi. Yes. Then it's decided. He said, and just then Mia and Issei came out to receive them. Mia. Welcome back. Said in a friendly manner when she saw the girls, as well as having a huge happy smile. Issei. Welcome home, Ku-chan. Said with a smile full of affection as he looked at everyone and then at his little girl to kneel and wait for a hug from the little girl. Kusano. I'm home, Ani-chan. Said very happily, going to Issei, although she was silent while Issei hugged her. Issei. Haha. Laughed when he knew what was happening, but the others were worried. Don't worry, she's just tired today, she tried a lot just like all of you. Night bathroom. After a long day, all the girls decided to go in and take a long shower for all the effort they put in. Matsu. It seems our plan failed. Musubi. We try to be as secretive as possible. Aki. But it seems that it wasn't enough. Yufufu. Laughed at having failed. Matsu. The main reason for today's failure is that we didn't understand ourselves. Said just as someone entered the bathroom door. Mia. Ara, it's strange to see Matsu-san with you. She said, entering the bathroom where everyone saw her, but when she turned her back on them, they were surprised to see the Sekirei mark on Mia's neck. Matsu. Mia-tan, you said somewhat incredulously when she saw that mark on her, and the others were also surprised. Tsukiyumi. CC Circus Era Dono. Said very surprised when she found out that Mia was a Sekirei, but she wondered who. Musubi. Homemade. Said a little calmer. Mia. Fufufu, I think you already know who my Ashikabi is, right? She said, and everyone opened their eyes in disbelief. Well girls, I'll be with you from now on. Number 01 Mia. She said, much to the surprise of the others who didn't know that, because which started an interrogation. Patio exit. Issei was meditating while he had Kusano lying on his legs until he finally woke up, which brought Issei out of his meditation. Issei. Good morning, Ku-chan. Said when he saw the little girl who looked at him. Kusano. Where are they all? Asked while scratching his eyes when he woke up. Issei. They are all waiting for you to wake up to have dinner together, so they went to take a bath first. He said, and she smiled to sit on Issei's lap. Next time let's go shopping together and not race. Kusano. Yes. Said very happily. You know Ani-chan. He said, drawing Issei's attention. You know I'm Ma-chan, Su-chan, Aki-chan, Mu-chan, Hik-chan, Hib-chan, Ta-chan, Tu-chan, I love them all. Issei. I love you all too. Said while hugging the little girl. World Draconic Deus. BXD. After the last thing seen in Azazel's office in Grigori, all the girls were notified that Azazel knew Issei's location, since he had been spying on him. When they all found out, they notified the other allied factions to demand Issei's location, and it is just the moment we are in now. Surziches. Well Azazel, we demand that you tell us where Issei-kun is, all of them have the right to know, they are his fiancés. He said while raising his aura, although another calmed him down immediately. Auden. So now you demand to know the location of the boy you hurt, all of you are just damn hypocrites. He said with great anger in his voice. Michael. It's true that they unfairly judged Issei-kun, and now they're looking for him. You don't know what Issei-kun felt. He said looking at all the girls in the place. They broke his poor heart that he had done no harm to you, they just accused him of something. Which was impossible for him to have done. He said, and almost everyone in the meeting room hung their heads in sadness and frustration. Azazel. It's true, my student deserves to be happy away from you. He said, hurting the girls' hearts. Riaz. But Azazel sensei Ice is my fiancé, I don't want to be far from him, tell us where he is. She said as a plea while tears fell from her eyes just like the other girls when thinking about a life without Issei. Azazel. Well, you better get used to the idea that you will have a life without him because he already started his life without you. He said, driving a stake into the girls' hearts. Because I better not show it to you. He said, taking out a device where he began to play the day Issei arrived at Shinto Tito. Where they were trying to find out some clue that would tell them where Issei was, but what happened surprised them enormously as a girl fell from the sky, and Issei jumped without hesitation to save her, which made the girls jealous, but it didn't last long when they saw how the lightning attack arrived where they were, and when it seemed that Issei was about to fight. The girl took him away from the place at high speed. Zenobia. That was incredible, how come she runs so fast? Said while seeing the girl's speed, Musubi. After that they only saw how somewhere the girl stopped, starting to talk to Issei, thanking him for saving her by introducing herself as Musubi until she fell, surprising everyone, and even more so when Issei took her where she ate a large amount of hamburgers, and they got angry when she asked him to stay with him, and he accepted. But what most bothered everyone present was that Musubi took his hand and put it on his chest, almost about to kiss him, but when nothing happened, they calmed down. Irina. Who thinks she's such a Musubi by approaching darling like that? Said throwing a tantrum. The next morning they saw how she slept with Issei almost naked, which made them angry, and an aura of death began to emanate from them, but they knew that Issei wouldn't do anything, but that still made them angry. Later that day, Issei took her to a restaurant where she ate 12 dishes, which impressed everyone, but then they got angry because Issei was protecting Musubi from two girls in maid outfits, who they recognized as the girls who had attacked Musubi, until they exploded when they saw how Musubi and the other two girls kissed Issei. Introducing themselves as Hikari Sekirei number 11 and Hibiki Sekirei number 12, that didn't surprise them. What surprised almost everyone in the room was that during the kiss they glowed and some kind of energy wings came out behind them. Riaz. Those damn ones kissed my eyes, they will pay. Said very angrily as she released her aura with energy of destruction. After that, she arrived at Izumo Villa where she met Miya, Kagari and Yuzume, although the latter caused a lot of anger when she appeared half naked in front of Issei, but they got angrier when they saw Musubi when she came out naked from the hotel bathroom and, according to them, jumped about Issei with only one thing in mind, to take her virginity, but then they realized that it was not the case, thinking that she was very stupid. From there was a jump in the projection showing where Yuzume jumped out of the window being chased by Musubi, but what the annoying thing was that Yuzume hugged Issei by the neck. Ikeno. Ara, that girl is taking advantage of how kind Anada is. Said while emanating rays from her body. In the projection there was a jump where you could see Issei fighting with Miya, giving him a big fight until he stopped, and the fight passed into the hands of Musubi, although they were angry to see that Yuzume hugged Issei from behind again, but what made them explode, it was the kiss on his cheek that Yuzume gave him, but after that they didn't know more about Issei. So they could only see how Hikari and Hibiki arrived at Izumo village, and then saw how they were heading to a place where Issei had a little girl in his arms. And a girl attacked them, and then saw how that little girl kissed Issei, and green wings also came out of her. Hineko. What was that? Said very surprised. Of course, but it didn't end since a new girl arrived and stole a kiss from Issei, increasing the anger in everyone who hoped that those girls would stay away from Issei when they found him the next day. Issei could be seen who was working on a construction site for after a few hours to return home, and then see one night where Issei was checking the house with all his sekirei, but nothing more than a date that Issei had with Akitsu, although what bothered them the most was that Musubi, Hikari, Hibiki and Akitsu told him that they would stay by his side, but what broke their hearts was that Issei told them the same thing, knowing that they hurt him a lot and maybe he didn't love them anymore, creating a terrible pain and insecurity in them. Although what got them out of that momentary pain was seeing that Issei was in the bathroom and someone unknown had entered with him and seemed to be trying to seduce him, causing the girl's aura to shake the meeting room, and even more so when she asked for his DNA, understanding that she wanted that white liquid that released Issei's Excalibur. Zenobia. Hey, that's mine. Issei must give his DNA with his children to me, she said, but they continued watching and luckily nothing had happened thanks to the appearance of Musubi, and from then on not many things happened other than Matsu's night visit to Issei's room, who was the one who encouraged the kiss with her, and not what happened was nothing more than the appearance of Mia, which made everyone happy. But what didn't make them happy was that Issei kissed them good morning. At that moment, he went ahead, preventing them from hearing the Sekiryuutei's explanation, passing where they were talking about Tsukiyumi. Asia. Like someone wants to kill Issei-san, said very worried. Sona. That's impossible, said thinking that no one would achieve that. At that moment there was another cut where it went directly to the fight where you could see Taiga and Asuka who launched their prayer and Issei jumped to protect Tsukiyumi, and when you could see Issei with notable injuries, which worried them all, and then they saw how Issei used the armor of the White Emperor, but they remembered that Albion was with Issei and tried to tell them what had happened and they just ignored him, but then they heard something. Tsukiyumi. Very well, the Sekiryuutei. Tsukiyumi humbly accepts your marriage proposal, said, surprising everyone in the room since what Issei had said could be confused with that, and when they thought that he would deny that he just opened his arms waiting for the girl, she jumped and kissed him and blue wings appeared on her back. Issei, from this moment on, Tsukiyumi will be the only one who will have the right to kill you, she said, to the surprise of everyone who did not understand the woman's character, but then they all arrived. The girls created a scene of jealousy, and it was much worse when they all called themselves Issei's wives, but one night something happened that surprised everyone. Fusano. I love you, Ani-chan, stay together with Ku forever, she said, and Issei smiled at that. And when I grow up, make me your wife, she said, and all the girls felt threatened by a little girl. Enemu? How come I feel jealous and threatened of a little girl? Said, and the ground shook from the release of her power. After what happened they saw a fight between all of them to sleep with Issei, although in the end they all slept next to him to the jealousy of all the girls in the room who wanted to look for Issei at that precise moment, and that was possible since Azazel finished the recording. Azazel. I think that's enough, but if you want to know more, there are 3 other girls, but that's a secret, good luck in your search, he said, leaving. Enemu? Wait, Azazel, tell us where Issei-kun is, he's ours, not theirs, she said with quite a bit of anger in her voice. Azazel. If you say that he is yours then look it up for yourselves and see the reality with your own eyes instead of jumping to conclusions. Said to leave the room, leaving everyone with a certain degree of sadness. Rias. Ani-sama, help us look for him. We already have several names. We can find him if we find them. Surziches. Well, we will investigate immediately, the other allies, we ask you to support us. Said, but Auden and Michael just stood up and were about to leave without saying a word. Zeus. Wait, where are you going? Spoke to both leaders who were about to leave. Auden. We had already said it, we will not help look for the boy, you heard him, now he is happy, and I think he is better off this way. Michael. I think the same as Auden Dono, Issei-kun has several girls who sincerely love him and would never doubt how he always should have been. He said, and the girls lowered their heads full of sadness and anger towards themselves. It's good that they have a good morning, he said, so that both of them left the room, leaving everyone dejected and discouraged. That's it guys. Thanks for watching and supporting us. See you in the next part.